I'm telling you.
Good. How y'all doing? Y'all are so awesome. Let's see here. My name is TruthfullySpeakin. I want to share a couple points with you. One is very new. And I kind of, wrestled and asked God, how you want me to do that? He said yes. So I'm not sure who is meant to touch, who is meant to reach, but I must be obedient and do this. Can y'all hear me?
Amen.
Okay. This poem is about a young girl, and it's entitled, Who Is She? There are so many young people out here who don't know who they are for real. They just know what they see on TV, what they hear on radio, what their mom and them tell them, whether it be good or bad. That's all they know. So a lot of us know. So it's about a young girl that's entitled, Who Is She?
Right. Speak up.
Small town girl with big city dreams that included seeing the world. She was always told to do good in school, follow all the rules, never miss a Sunday at church, and that loving God was cool. But there was one thing that no one ever taught her. The one thing that if never developed, she would never see. And that's the importance of sustaining her own identity. So her mind was blinded by the images that she saw on the TV screen. Her reality altered by the playing out of emasculated dreams. And it was those dreams that implanted deep roots into the cortex of her mind, that she was sucked into the vortex where her beauty will never be defined. But what will be defined is the thickness of her behind, the plumpness of her breast, the sweetness of her kiss, and the never-ending flow of her wetness. She doesn't know how to address this, so she begins to undress this temple. To manipulate her smile, to hide her childish dimples, she parades her temple. Walking with more swirl than Shirley had in her temple curl. Who is that girl? It's what they begin to say. As she covers her innocence with lashes, foundation, and lipstick as her remy hair lays upon her waist. So unaware that her style screams, sex me. We don't have to date. Why should she have to wait? Wait for a man to get on one knee when she can skip the formalities and get on both knees to show him how she was taught to please. Don't censor me, because this act is free to see on the DVDs and movie screens. She is lost. She doesn't know what to expect. When society has shown her that there's no respect for intellect, so she's forced to accept the neglect. Drinking away her problems while popping Percocets. Doing lines for the first time. Who is this girl? Has she lost her mind? No. She has simply lost control of her soul. She doesn't know which way to go. She suppresses her feelings, trying not to let them show, while on the inside they continue to fester and grow. In her eyes, you can see the pain from the lies told to her time after time just to get between her thighs. Her inner voice cries and weeps as her outer voice speaks the ignorance of the streets, the language of poverty, the hashtags, the .coms of illiteracy. She doesn't know who she was born to be. She has now become the fallen legacy of a queen who will never sit upon her throne because she's become comfortable at the bottom in the hood that she calls home. Who is she? What will she ever be? Will her mind ever grow beyond the bad chick mentality? Who is she? Let's see. She's your neighbor that you sneer at when she asks for a favor. She's your auntie you can't stand, your cousin who gave up on men. She's your sister, she's your daughter, and in some cases, she's your mother. She's the one that plays the mind games with your sons. She is from where our future comes. Yeah, she's the one. But it is her that we disregard. It is her with the broken heart. It is her with the low self-esteem. It is her that feels nothing emotionally. It is her that we don't take the time out to guide and lead. It is at her that we shake our heads as she sways her hips seductively down the street. It is her that has made this life a profession. It is her who feels cut out of God's very blessing. And at the end of the day, it is she who looks at her reflection and questions, who is she that's staring back at me? And it's a reflection with no hesitation that answers back, she is me. This is my book, y'all.
All right.
I'm so proud. you. It's entitled Cold Blue. Everybody know what cold blue is. They call cold, cold blue in the hospital is emergency. Somebody ain't breathing, somebody ain't right. So God gave me this poem one night, and it's a little message. Cold blue. Cold blue, the patient stopped breathing and CPR just won't do. The heart has stopped pumping and the oxygen ain't getting through. No, let me rephrase that. Cold blue, the Christians stopped listening and regular preaching just won't do. The fivefold has stopped ministering and the word ain't getting through. 1, 2, clear. No response. Too much worry and stress. The world has passed its test while the church has suddenly slipped into cardiopulmonary arrest. But what can you do when the patient is holding his breath, refusing to help? And is more convinced that he knows what's best. Well, if you do, then breathe. Pump your chest. Beep. We got a pulse, but the pressure is still weak. So let's nourish him, starting with Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Check the vitals. They look okay. But for some reason, these symptoms just won't go away. Weakness and labored breathing, or should I say sinning and no longer reading. This is breeding grounds for failure. The total opposite of success. Neglecting warning signs while continuing to waver in faults was like showing the utmost disrespect by having sex on the altar. Wait a minute. Don't code again. Because it's about time for this full body physical to begin. Checking everything from the outside to the inside. No longer allowing Satan a joyride. Let's send him back to the psych ward, being free from his pains and lies. Psalms 116:1. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. But did we hear the cry of our own indiscretions? Forgetting that the ability to breathe and be free is one of the greatest blessings. But like CPR, a million breaths did not compare to the one breath given to start humanity. Just like a mind thinking on its own would never survive in this broad spectrum of human sanity. An immature soul stands no chance in a world of vanity. Like being lost in the wilderness with no sense of direction, having nowhere to turn, coming face to face with fears of rejection that arise from the complexion of feelings that come to divert certain situations, causing thoughts that hold substantial complications, hanging over his head like faulty decorations, sleeping inclinations of no longer wanting to face reality, so he figures the only way out is through self-inflicted fatality. Cold blue, forgetting all morality. No longer sharing a commonality with those that surround him. But it seems so hard to when no one understands him. Rather than listen, they point the finger and condemn him, sealing his fate. Never realizing the difference that a few words could make. Now he's sitting alone in a room, thoughts racing, heart pacing, eyes moving up to the right. He closes them tight, then boom, one shot to the head. His earthly life will never resume. But is it really his fault that his life ended so soon? Or is it yours because all you did was sit back and assume that he was crazy, or had lost his mind, or that it was just his time? Cold blue, the church stopped breathing again. Cold blue, the church stopped teaching about sin. Cold blue, the church stopped caring about men. No love and actual fear of the Lord is causing the world to end. Who knows when that last breath will be exhaled to never return again? You looking for an end? Well, this will be it. Cold blue. It's time for the church to commit.